Hey guys, thanks for joining me. I have a really special video today. I will be doing my top 10 Babe Ruth cards. Now, I'm a big Babe Ruth collector. He's my #1 PC. I have a bunch of PCs, teams, players, so on and so forth. However, as far as the #1 Babe Ruth is my #1 PC, and I have hundreds and hundreds of cards. When it comes to Babe Ruth, I absolutely do not care what the brand is, what year it is. I collect them all. So here's like a newer Topps card. Here's a really nice absolute one. This one is actually number 3 out of 50, so that's kind of cool because it's number to his jersey number. But I have lots and lots of Babe Ruth cards, numbered cards, 1962 Topps. I have every single one of these, probably 2 of each. So lots of Babe Ruth cards, whether it's new or old. This is a full set, or you guys might remember this from a couple years ago from Heritage. But anyway, here's a bad card. Anyway, so I have lots and lots, I would say hundreds of Babe Ruth cards. But as far as the original ones, like the top cards that were either made from his playing days, especially, or when he was still alive, I would consider those the absolute top items. If you look in the background, you'll see Babe Ruth photo. Here's a testimonial out here on the left side from the Washington Times. There's a Babe Ruth magazine in the background. There's a Babe Ruth notebook. Let me do this real quick so you guys can see. I have an entire room that I dedicate to Babe Ruth. So all those are magazines from the 1920s up there that I put in like one large frame, kind of collaged it. That's a Babe Ruth notebook from the early teens as well. Actually 1920, I want to say, because it's one of his first early photos of him in that one right there, him in a Yankee uniform. But anyway, so what I want to focus on today, I love the memorabilia, I love all this stuff. Anything Babe Ruth I collect, guys, but today I want to focus on the cards. Okay, speaking of focusing on the cards, no pun intended. So let me go ahead and start with, actually this is one of my absolute favorites, and it's 1929 R316 Kashin Publications. Very cool card. It's an oversized card. You can see the, if I show you like the difference in the size of the cards. So, well, you know what? Here, we're talking about Babe Ruth, so let's use a Babe Ruth card. So this is a standard card. So this is a card. It is not a photo. Sometimes people call it a photo. It is not. It is a card. And I'm really glad I picked this one up because I think I paid about 300, maybe 340, somewhere around there, a little bit under 350, and now they sell for a heck of a lot more. But again, I don't care. He's my PC, so I could have it forever, and I'm just gonna hold on to it. So, all right, so there's one. Here's another one, guys. I picked this one up probably like 2004. I was a kid. I bought it on eBay. I bought it raw. I think I paid maybe 60 bucks. And sometimes, guys, it's totally worth to take that risk because I graded it last year and turned out to be authentic. And this one, I don't know why they didn't give it a numerical grade. I think the border on the left side, there's not enough border to give it a numerical grade. But nevertheless, guys, for 60 bucks, you know, it's a cool $400 or $500 card. But again, it's my PC. I don't care. But just want to mention, guys, that, you know, sometimes it's worth taking a risk and just, you know, getting out of your comfort zone and you know, just jumping on it. So I guess it pays off to be dumb sometimes. So, but I absolutely don't recommend in today's world buying it raw because there's so many fakes and chances are it is going to be fake, but you never know. 1931 Josetti, Babe Ruth, and Harold Lloyd. I want to say this is a, let's see, this is a German card. So beautiful. I don't know why PSA gave it a 2. I think, you know, the guy broke up with his girlfriend the night before. That's probably why. Otherwise, this is probably the best one of this card I've ever seen in my entire life. Not a wrinkle or a crease or a stain on it. And as you can see, it's bright white, almost dead centered. But anyway, thanks PSA. All right, next one, 1948 Topps. You may not know this. This is the very first Topps set ever made, Topps Magic Photo. And what you had to do is when you got this out of the little wrapper, you had to, I want to say you had to spit on it and rub it in order for the photo to develop. So they kind of really went along with like Magic Photo sort of deal, where you can basically develop your own photo. And just to show you guys, if you didn't spit on it or rub it really the right way, wow, that sounded so wrong. But anyway, what turns out to be is like your card is kind of like that, where it's a little faded, as you can see, while this one is very bold. So I do have two of them. This one's definitely the higher grade, but this one, it looks like is just developed so much better, although the centering's off. Whatever, doesn't matter this age, this type card. But anyway, long story short, just so you know, here's the difference in what it could turn out versus what a lot of them did turn out to be. Okay. Next one, 1948 Swell Spirit Thrill. This is a very cool card. It's a 3MC. Again, it's my PC. I don't really care for it to be like super high grade, but I think I paid this. I think I paid like 140 for this, and they sell for probably double that now. But I'm glad I did. It is MC, but you know what? It's just such a beautiful card, and it's Lou Gehrig congratulating Babe Ruth after the 1932 called shot home run. After he came to home base, ran it in. Here's the card. Definitely after his playing days, and absolutely after he died. He died in 1948, but it's an extremely rare one. You see these on eBay sometimes ungraded. They pop up. Don't buy them ungraded, although I did. I lucked out, but there's a lot of fake ones of this because it's just black and white, very easy to reproduce. So anyway, I'm not saying the ungraded ones are fake, but there is a lot of fake ones out there, so just beware. But this was part of like a keychain. They're called a keychain insert, but very cool. I loved it. I bought it, and thank God it graded out, so I'm happy about that. Here's a couple cards here. So these are 1928 Frojoy. So basically, they came in, I want to say, ice cream packs, or ice cream itself. And just a quick FYI, guys, around 2012 or maybe around 2015 or so, PSA, BVG, and SGC all stopped grading these cards. Now, there are quite a bit of PSA, SGC, and BVG graded ones out there, but apparently they found a whole bunch of reprints that looked very similar to the originals. So I guess the grading card companies couldn't do their job. I know it's crazy, but they couldn't tell the difference between the originals and the fakes, so they all stopped grading them. However, these were graded very early on, as you can see by the label and the number. So I definitely believe these are authentic, and I did, I want to say, paid about 600 bucks for both of them. Very cool. But again, beware of these guys, a lot of fakes out there. But again, I don't know why PSA stopped grading these black and white cards, and they still continue to grade these black and white cards, and these black and white cards, and so many other black and white cards that PSA still grades, and they can tell the difference between the real ones of those and the fake. But for some reason, these they stopped grading. Absolutely ridiculous. But if you were able to slip them by the grading companies, and they are legit, they're worth a pretty penny, because again, they don't slab them anymore. Another card I want to show you guys. So I had one of these at a card show one time. I was showing somebody, and he said, "Oh, that's such a nice photo. I love that photo, blah, blah, blah." I said, "Dude, this is not a photo." So when you see this, guys, 1948 American Association, this is absolutely not a photo. This is a card. It is an oversized card. Again, there's the size comparison, but this is a card. Okay, and it's very cool. It has all of Babe Ruth's, or most of Babe Ruth's Yankee statistics, and some of his statistics as a pitcher for the Red Sox. So, very, very cool card. I love it. It's one of my absolute favorite. And I did buy this card raw as well. You can easily tell the difference between this one, for some reason, at least for me, the real ones and the fake ones. But I graded it out, and I got lucky. It graded on an SGC 5. Let me try to do this. So there's that, guys. Let's see. Okay, and then last but not least, I want to show you these two cards. I absolutely love these two cards, and there is a little bit of a story behind both of these. Why did I lose focus? Okay, we're all good now. Anyway, so this one right here, 1948 Leaf, a Babe Ruth. I bought this one raw as well on eBay. I want to say, like, again, 2004, 2005. I just bought a ton of raw stuff. Grading was really not that big. I know a lot of people say, "Oh yeah, I graded stuff back then." I did too, but like very rarely would I grade something. Grading was not that big of a deal back then. But 2004, 2005, I bought it raw on eBay, and I think I paid, actually no, I know exactly what I paid. I paid 250 bucks. And again, I took another risk, and I graded it last year, and thank God it graded out. So, you know, definitely worth the risk on that one. And in this one right here, 1933 Goudey Babe Ruth number 144. This is the only one out of all four Goudeys in the 1933 set where it's a full pose of Babe Ruth. The other ones are like a torso, headshots, whatever. But one thing that's amazing about this card, I call it the Genesis. And the reason why is because this was the very first vintage card I ever really took notice and thought it was just beautiful. And after I saw that in a card shop with my dad, I went home and I just Googled everything Babe Ruth. I had my mom take me to the library, and I, you know, checked out every book about Babe Ruth or him on the cover or anything that mentioned him, and I just fell in love with Babe Ruth and his story. So I call this card the Genesis because this was the beginning of my love for vintage cards, and I always knew I would own one. The one I originally saw was in a card shop. I'm sure it sold, you know, 20 years ago, but about 5 years ago or 4 years ago, I was able to pick one up, and I have it here into my PC. And again, it's one of those casket cards. I don't care what somebody would offer. I would keep this forever because, again, like I said, this is the one card that inspired me to like Babe Ruth, inspired me to like the Yankees or love the Yankees, love Babe Ruth, inspired me to love and collect vintage cards, and just really inspired me to go in a different direction. I still buy packs and boxes today, and I do open, you know, kind of like late 90s, early 2000s boxes. I do open current product of baseball and basketball, but most of what I collect, I would say 85-90% is vintage baseball, and this is the card that inspired me to go into that direction. So that's why I call it the Genesis. Of course, this is not the first one I saw, but again, years later, I was able to pick one up. So absolutely beautiful card. Thank you guys for joining me. I hope you can hit that thumbs up button. And if you haven't subscribed already, please hit the subscribe button and choose all when you hit that bell next to subscribe. That way you get notified on all the videos. And if you haven't seen my 1,000 subscriber contest giveaway, I think it's a pretty awesome giveaway. Definitely appreciate you guys tuning in, and I want to, you know, just pay it forward. So check that video out. I'll put a link at the very end of this video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Long live Babe Ruth.